How's it going, guys? I'm here to review Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift 2006.
Ready. Set up.
So, Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, this is the third installment in the franchise, and this is the one that doesn't feature Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, or Tyrese Gibson. This is a completely new cast in this movie. This movie features Bow Wow, Lucas Black, and Sung Kang, and this movie introduces to one of the best characters in this franchise, Han. So this is the movie where you think it's going in chronological order, but this is actually taking place at the same time when Furious 7 is supposed to take place. So if you want to watch this movie in order when it comes to the timeline, you should watch Fast and Furious 1, 2, and then skip this movie, Tokyo Drift, 4, 5, 6, and then watch Tokyo Drift, and then 7. It's because Tokyo Drift and Fast and Furious 7, they both, it's both happening in the same time pretty much. It opens up with our new main character named Sean, which is played by Lucas Black. Once again, yes, it doesn't have Brian O'Connor, played by Paul Walker in this movie. It doesn't have that character for the first time, but he'll come back in the next movie. But this time you are introduced to it, like I said, to a new character. Lucas Black played Sean, and Sean is pretty much like a kind of like a trouble rebel delinquent. Like, he loves to be in street races. He doesn't follow rules. He always get kicks out of schools, always moves towns here and there. So of course, after his last street racing in his own high school, he is forced to move to Tokyo with his father. And this time, like, if he does one more street racing, pretty much he's just they're gonna take him away from his parents pretty much. Of course, it's all new to him. Like, Tokyo, like, he's an American, so of course Tokyo and the culture, the lifestyle, like, just everything about it is just all new to him, and it's taken him some time to get used to. But in the same time, he knows that he's not gonna get used to this, because he knows that he's probably just gonna move away, or probably like move to another state or town, country, because he just can't help but be in the street racing wars. And that's where he meets Twinkie, which is played by Bow Wow, and Neela.
It's called drifting.
What do you mean, drift?
The cars are lighter. The tires are slick. When you drift, if you ain't out of control, you ain't in control.
Neela is like his love interest, and Twinkie is just his best pal, giving him, like, hooking up with all the cars and giving him the dates, like, we should go to this racing war, or we should go to here. So pretty much he's into street racing himself, so that's how they become friends. And he knows all the parts to his vehicles too. And Twinkie, he has like the Incredible Hulk, like, SUV type vehicle, which is pretty funny. So as he goes to his first street racing in Tokyo, that's where he meets DK, which is played by Brian T. Brian T plays, I don't know if, like, Shredder from that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows. So he played Shredder, and I think he played Evil Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat Legacy series. But of course, like I said, yeah, he was talking to Neela, but that's when DK gets jealous, because Neela is pretty much DK's property, DK's girl. So of course, Sean challenges DK for a street race. Of course, he loses, but then he gets teachings by Han, and Han teaches him how to drift. Han is a dope-ass character in this movie. He's probably one of the coolest characters in this franchise, period. He teaches Sean how to drift, how to race, because he sees something in Sean that most other people can't see, which is pretty cool. And yeah, he just teaches him what he knows. He teaches him how to, like, properly drift and street race and all that kind of good stuff. And Han, he does have, like, a history. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, click off right now. But he does know Vin Diesel and his family from the first two movies, or pretty much in this whole franchise. So Dominic Toretto and Han, they know each other. They had a past together before this movie, and it was revealed in the end of the movie. And it was also revealed that he knew just a lot of secrets within the Yakuza clan. Pretty much he had to owe DK some money, and that's why later on in the end he was on the run from him. And yeah, so DK, even though he's part of the Yakuza, it's really his uncle. His uncle is like the greatest like mob leader of this Yakuza, and he's the one who makes the executive decisions pretty much, and he follows his uncle's wishes. So that's pretty much it. Like, that's pretty much the plot for this movie. Sean is just trying to street race in Tokyo. He then meets new friends, new characters, and alongside with that, he just gets himself into a conflict between Neela and the Yakuza.
On the other side of the world, on the wrong side of the law, a new style of racing rules the Tokyo underground.
How you guys get away with this?
And all the best drivers want in.
So what did I think about this movie? This movie it's different. When this movie came out, a lot of people did not like this movie because maybe it is still considered, but a lot of people say this was, and maybe it is still considered, the black sheep of the franchise because it was different. It's the one movie where it didn't have any other returning characters from the first two movies. You can tell it was trying to take a different turn to this franchise. Obviously, when this movie came out, a lot of people didn't like it. So that's why in the next movie, Fast and Furious 4, they went back to old roots. They brought back pretty much the whole family from the first movie. But Tokyo Drift works well, in my opinion, because, like I said, a lot of people didn't like it because it was different, but I do like this movie because it is different. It's unique. These new characters are actually well written. They're actually interesting. I'm not gonna lie, Sean, like, even though he's the main character, he's kind of the blandest character in this movie, but I mean, he still puts out an entertaining performance. He does a memorable performance, at least. Bow Wow, he's just there, but it's cool to see Bow Wow in this movie, so that's nice. That's good to see. So DK and his uncle and pretty much the whole Yakuza clan, they're ineffective villains for this movie, so that's cool. The soundtrack, like I said, the Fast and Furious movies always have a cool soundtrack most of the time, and in this movie, yeah, it does have a cool soundtrack. Characters are well written, like I said. The street racing scenes is pretty intense. It's action packed. Like, it gives you that adrenaline rushing through your veins. Like, but yes, there are some scenes that are kind of outdated in this movie, especially for today's generation. Guys slapping women's asses in this movie. High schoolers burning like a Native American, like Indian piñata. It's just, yeah, it's a little yeesh.
Race.
But when you live on the edge, anything can happen.
You came to the wrong place.
Now, in a place where life moves this fast.
Overall, this is not a bad sequel, like I said. Like I said in my other reviews too, like the first 3 or 4 couple of Fast and Furious movies, like, are pretty much the best because it focuses mostly on the street racing itself instead of just over the top James Bond type action movies. But that's just me. Is it better than the last 2 movies? No. Honestly, I still like the first 2 movies better than this, but this is still not a bad sequel. It tried to do something different, which is awesome. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie for what it is. So if I had to rate this movie out of 10, I would probably give it like I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. It wasn't that bad. It was entertaining. It was like a pretty average movie for an action street racing type movie, so pretty good. So that was my quick review of Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next Fast and Furious movie. Oh, we're only halfway there, sort of. So this is a long franchise.
Come on! Hey, look, watch out! Almost over now.
Life's simple. Make choices. Don't look back.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
But you don't have to ever quit. Ain't gonna take it no more, since it's almost over now. Almost over now.